Perfect design, the existence manifold, the true passion of America. Chrum, destroying all the problems, inaugurating the cure. Shram. We are the community of America. We are society. We are the ingenuity to further this family and to make sure the inheritance of our children, that we do not become some tempty tank of honey. We must not allow ourselves to be despoiled. Must not turn ourselves into temptation. So that's a design thing. We want to have perfect design as we're moving into the future. We're talking about like, oh, identity, and it has all these troves of good stuff, but we don't want to accidentally awaken like some honey trove and then get boarded by space pirates, you know. Well, such a thing will become increasingly impossible. But we are in this weird uh, event on Earth. It's the beginning of creation for identity. But identity is sort of like self evident, which is why the universe will survive at any rate. Excuse me, hold on a second. I got this gnarly cough from staying up too late. Man, I think I understand things better now than I ever have before. Thank you guys for your understanding that the reason we're here is because we want to solve the problems. There's a crisis in the world, you know, and that's what I'm standing on. I understand that my relationship with South Park. Look, I know that there's not a help wanted sign on South Park. You guys aren't looking for writers. You're able to comment on the world. What I'm asking you guys to do is be magical and just be part of the reality that Hatch is simply different from these other people. And that's enough for us to say, well, let's produce him, help him to get those editors he needs. Let's just help round that up and go. Meanwhile, on top of that, Hatch is like, you guys, the breather mask is super important. It's a very common sense thing that would be the appropriate adult response to a breathing pandemic. Oh my God, the kids are in danger. Oh, the adults have to go and manufacture. Yeah, and that's when we need to rise up to the level where we're talking about being a hero, or like we're really raising this family of society. We're being responsible and helping Hatch to deliver his invention to people like this. And so all of my ideas and inventions are deeply self-fractal identity. There's like deeper things going on here, and I'm being censored for money, not strictly from Trey, but sort of the world uses money as a weapon against me just to prove that these people really have a speech impediment and they burn oil like they don't know what they're doing. And I've been working the shift being like, yeah, but if they pull up at the right time, the burning of oil could be like a crying child being like, oh, I'm like, there's something like removing my soul particles because they're trying to hurt Jesus. Like, of course the people fall down and go, oh, I'm a petri dish, and they start shaking around. What I'm working to do is raise up people who are not falling down like this. And what you guys are familiar to is also what you would do if you were the pool of wizards, the wizards of chaos and fire. You guys are Dare Brando of ghost and technology. And you have this sort of ghost champagne. You can remember, you like, yeah, we know what Hatch smells like. We can like feel his energy. But Hatch doesn't exclusively work with Ghost and technology Rimshirsh, right? It's not just a bunch of like, oh, the universe is hearing, and you put out some satellite dishes, all of a sudden you have a cell phone. Well, then you have to respond with that level of technology. The image of the universe is like a technology because, I mean, the picture of the universe is like a technology that completely demolishes the theory about 6 degrees of separation. The image of the universe brings it down to 2 degrees of separation. Through the image of the universe, we are connected to the entire living existence in the vacuum of reality. It's kind of this adult thing, and that's not to be cheated. Well, no one's cheating the intensity of reality, but I don't think that the adults who live on Earth are especially like, oh, I'm really excited to be like thwarted by junk DNA because I didn't know that a rimshire will come by sideways and rail walk as an example, just to prove that there's some type of higgly piggly that can uh hook a lady's soul. Well, because she's talking about the spiritual future of her identity, saying like, oh, there's some other. You know how guys, it was just a bunch of hell, right? There's like a zen to life, and here on Earth, that zen is pickpocket, tickly toggly. Look, I'm not here to rip off South Park. I'm not here to guilt trip you guys because English is, not familiar to talking about how do we actually defeat Armageddon or how do we actually transcend the UFOs. That's not what we're here. That's not what the one of the layers of the false societal berg that keeps heroes down and oppresses the true voice. All right. But as adults, we're not like, oh, I'm a broken soul or oh, I have an excuse now. No, it's fire to your kiln. So you're like, fuck, we gotta save these kids. And that's real, you guys. That's real. When we're fighting to make this uh, rebreather go to kids, we are on the front line of the defense of life. It's absolutely real. So, but the thing is, okay, so how would we most expediently get this mask to the people, and how can we best serve everything at the same time? Well, it would be a miraculum. It would be about the men, making a small like we don't usually make a decision to do a script for this reason, but be like, well, it's awesome to be doing something new because no one else. And this is never. I mean, well, yeah, you're right. This is never. This is a new script. Yeah, you're right. Okay, um, I'm talking like intellectually what the earth really needs and what the humans really need and what the speech impediment is all about. The Green Wolf robot toy solves exactly that. And if you inspect your spirit and you listen to your heart, you can feel like I can feel how the spirit is trying to tempt us to be like, yeah, just make a breather mask. That's really what you guys should be doing because that gets your heart beating and stuff. Because well, also that is true that there is a human connection, and so we can feel people who are like scared and also like, oh wait, but like a breather that fits around your whole head like that would solve the theater problem. That would solve the office problem. It's like a little toy, but it's you know yeah. And I mean, there's things we can talk about like maybe we have the plastic that is UV light sensitive and it changes. And if you go outside, there's a tinting so that you don't get like glare. Oh, yeah, this thing is like a functional piece of equipment. And I just haven't talked about too many of the extra things because they're pleasantries that are like the bonus of us doing intelligent design, being like, well, this is also like for good luck and it's gonna help, like, oh, just have it like a party when you're wearing your it's like a hat party. So Hatch, you know, he's this mascot that does this, you guys, but the best way we could deliver this thing is through South Park. It's better for the heart, it's less of a shock, and it also is the superior form of my Lotus of okay, the origin of cyberpunk to come out through South Park is actually more cyberpunk. Like, how did Hatch like woo, he pull off this huge maneuver and then woo, doo, 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 it's kind of like that. As long as you don't feel that your body is a limiter. Actually, we are. So when we're both living animals and we're pronking around, be like, hey, yeah, just like really having fun. I'm sorry, but yeah, like that. Just like turning and really loving that. I mean, that's a viable place to derive. Okay. It's not that's not stupid babble. It's like really intense physics. It's like the difference. Oh my God, it's so intense. Right. And when the thing is right up to your face, the truth comes out quicker. All right. So, one thing I think Trey appears to think, I think that Trey is telling me that it's difficult for them to equate the vast differential between the ghost whispers and their logic pattern because there is an entire mind process where you could say like aha because I was feeling spicy and then whoosh and then I felt cold, oh therefore this guy is using the media forum as like this whoosh, but with the contact of a million people it is the correct forum because then it guides the entire meditation of millions of people and hundreds of thousands of people arc fly together in the same vein where they're like, well, that's kind of interesting, but that wouldn't work there. And then Hatch goes like, and he kind of, oh, grand slam, and then a bunch of people are like, that's exactly what I was thinking about. And this whole other people, whether it's a demographic or Republicans, all of a sudden they're like, well, that makes fiscal sense. I mean, I should have known that and that's how Hatch brings peace through communication. The Earth might put forward an argument that the communication industry is the false communication of Earth and not reflective of the identity of Earth. But that's some pretty high level stuff where I'm talking about Trey. We're I, okay. For me to defeat evil using identity, that is the true champion's form, the Zen form that can actually defeat invasion. Of course, all my equipment is against these bad things, but the greater thing is to use identity as the champion's form. So allowing the children to receive the benefit of causing the causing the silver Junction, causing the okay, if we make this episode with South Park, then the people are the ones who defeat invasion, claim residency. That's the actual residency, is the people doing it themselves, which is why I need Trey to be an adjunct for that. This is not simple, but it can be understood in English. Hatch has really dedicated hard to Trey because while he was starting to go into like, all right, I'll abide with the rules of of the market. And then Earth was like, no, I need you to be that crazy wizard because Trey is my chosen one. In a very specific way, in a language like as older than hieroglyphs of Egypt, that my buildings were on the doorknob is like, no, this is about the identity of man. You can't just be pretending to be normal like you usually do. Like that was a big problem for me when I was a teenager. I tried to fit in and act like other people, but they hated that. That was like they were like, "Don't do that. We need a leader. We need a hero. You better toughen up." Like the kids have this thing. Yeah. So like, my presentation. Um, Listen, the reality is I'm really not happy actually where I'm living right now. I have this crappy apartment. I have no connections. I'm absolutely free agent, right? I'd love to relocate, and I'm going to present that in a moment because there's different ways that we could do this business. But if we could just remove this idea of like, obviously, Trey has been like, I haven't been able to think about a different script because this guy keeps on, or that, but Trey's like, no, 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 that's not true. I have other scripts. It's okay. You're fine. Go ahead. Whatever. I'm just saying, like, I understand there's drama behind the curtain and Hatch is the bad guy. I get it. But I think that this is important. And that's why it's a South Park script. You guys, it is a superior format for me to have my Lotus through South Park because people are just like, no way. Because that's an identity triumph. Like, how did you get on South Park? And that opens up this whole thing where they want to learn about all these characters. I mean, and that's perfect for me. Like, I've been thinking about it, and it's not a competition about what I want subtly, or Trey's like, does Hatch really want to be on South Park? I really do want to be on South Park. That is the tantamount. We are in Trey's plan B of his choosing from the earth, the stone of earth on clockwork, did this meditation change the topographical and change the course of man by slingshotting his diadem, his summoned gatekeeper unmet, right at Trey Parker in this powerful way, right? Like the doorbell is basically Earth saying, I've chosen like the champion of society or of Earth. So Trey is like the king of Earth, like that. Like, and so I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. Well, I've been wanting to change my name, and I was just like, whoosh. And so that was this whole curve of reality that would have survived 2019 societal Berg into the future. But but you guys, your grading score when I was invited out was like a zero, right? Because of the communication physics. But once again, Earth isn't like a prompto computer, and it's like it does make sense, and it's also that it's okay that you guys decided for your world, like, but again, this isn't a guilt trip because Trey is chosen. It means he needs to still be the hero, and he's the one that needs to do the thing. So it's manipulative to me when you guys take the evidence that is an encouragement to Trey saving society from invasion right now with this episode crossover with Hatch. And it's not really that I'd be a director. You guys wouldn't really be doing stuff that you wouldn't want. It's an honorary title. Like, well, listen to what he's saying. It's okay. Okay. And it's like I'm not gonna be like angry at you guys. Like it's gonna be it'd be like really, really lots of fun. But how do we do that? And also how urgent are we about doing that? So the thing is like for some reason, like when I look in the future, I'm like, okay, I'm on Zoom calls and I'm talking to the South Park guys. I just can't see it. I just don't see it happening. And I'm not sure why. It might be that, but like I think Million was right to send that chin puckering episode because you guys need to have it drilled into because you're ghost people. You're like, oh, is this ghost Rimshaw? Oh, I have this style from Facebook. It's a hacking through Twitter. Like, no, dude, it's not that. It's not a bunch of ghost presting. I'm a flat dimensional creature, stabilized on the flat dimension. The static flat dimension for other entities is unstable. They might have some elf lightning when they're like having a moment or something. But to have your identity firmly stamped into the flat dimension of zero space is to cause the universe, or rather, so there's this very adult phenomenon going on here on Earth, and I know that Earth and the other adult phenomenon, like entities of light, entities of the universe, entire galaxies, are like these characters that would be friends of the Earth, and the friends of the Earth would be like, well, clearly the humans are broken, and they're and Earth is like, God damn it, that's what the UFOs are saying, you fuckers. This is and this is coming up all around the time, and the living is path is like this, one lifetime. And the clockwork. And I said, this is why rocks generate this crystal body. Rocks form the crystal body only one time. There's not some other digestion of rocks. Stones cause clockwork. And the chapters of the universe are like this. All right. So anyway, Earth is saying like I like the miracles of Jesus Christ. Here's the superpowers talking about your issues, guys. Oh wow, like he cured blindness. Like this broken thing got fixed by a miracle. Well, it's because it's God. It's so perfect for humans to have that organization. All right. So the church is good, but it's also attacked, it's lampooned, it has an imitator, it has all these spectral things. It's like a bee's nest of, well, what isn't? But a man can leapfrog over that, and we are that generation 2021. So we need a perfect design. And then it opens up into the future. Oh, now we have a plan. Okay. So, when you guys are thinking like, oh, he's like an idol, a figurehead, and he'll ghost cast. Oh, he'll like give people a feeling that we have leadership, or he'll do that. No, I'm actually literally awakening the wizards of humanity. And you guys, need to not align with the energy that is against that because the where map talks of Beavis and Buds. So that's the earth going like, you guys, listen, you need to not be lame. All right, the universe is hazing me like this, and I need to prove that the humans are living here, resident, viable. Okay, do you understand the emotional? You're still able to talk. I know society shut down, but that's because Greta and the Friday Kids like this. Because the soul of the child can through a plot that was ancient. That's not our inheritance. That is not our identity. Through an ancient plot of Junktinei, bringing us to Armageddon. And sleepy South Park. I don't know if this script's funny. You know. So look, I'm not like you guys, like Ghost Caster, like, oh, that made me feel special. If you felt special from Hatch's presentation, that's you yourself, baby, shining from within. You got freshness that can't be denied. The cell division goes from the image of one to an image of a brain, but then it absolutely leapfrogs over the number three for the designation of the male Y chromosome. Trey basically, okay, so the cell division, it goes 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and then multiplications of 4 after that. And we see the pattern of 4 in the strand of light, the periodic table elements in this form of a ray of light. You can actually see the segments that separate the different colors that we see in the rainbow. But this periodic table elements is sort of like there's two reasons why information is just now coming out for humanity. One is for the wizards to discover it for the first time and invent it for their own self. And the other reason is because of censorship, because of a blanketed effect, the system of the down. The cell division itself goes 1, 2, so it secures your identity and then it gives you a brain. So you only have a brain after the image of your identity is made solid. Like it's a contract. You've agreed to conception. You'd be like, oh, I didn't ask to be alive. Well, you are that. You are the image of that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's an interesting thing to say. But in fact, your identity was there, and then you started thinking, and then so it's actually like it's a crazy time for Earth because Earth has actually attracted the greatest people in the identity pool of the universe and everything has attracted these incredible souls, and what they end up inheriting is a body with a rim shot that cheats them and burns out their soul, reprograms through nightmares. And a lot of people who are common people, they don't expect it, and it'd be the slings and arrows of outrageous misfortune. And the women would be rimshod like this, and the men are like, well, if the women are uncertain, is there me bad? Me bad? No, you not bad. Like there's a great need for people who are proving the evidence that we are being hurt like this. So there's a lot of poor people going, but we need to be excelsior beyond poor people for reasons that are obvious. Right, Trey? Okay, right. So here's my take. All right. Oh, I'm completely serious about this idea, but it was an afterthought. I love, my little. I get to write like a little joke to Trey, and I also like that joke about micromanaging. I think was my best joke written yet. It's like, and solve the vast problem of micromanaging. Yeah, that sounds like a lifesaver. Like, just install that. Yeah, man. I don't want people to feel like I'm micromanaging them because I'm like, basically, you guys enjoying your work here on this project, that's the meat of it. And that's really what's going to communicate with people. So, like, I don't want to micromanage people and make them feel like I just go over and like, and then I have to go over here. I feel like that would be great because then you can kind of brush it off and get back to work and sort of do what you're doing. And, I really want to be a good director and I want to have that family. I'm looking forward to my streaming service. I'm asking you guys to dig deep and realize you need to not be jealous of my glory. Yeah, I think there's a ghost triad that would make you feel like, a free speech outlet would not be good for 2021. And that's unconscionable. professionally and on a personal level. Also, you know, the basic stance of, look, you guys think that, okay, Hatch really stands out because this is extreme. So Hatch bad? No, no, no. It's like this is an anomaly. This is special. Trey was chosen for a special. There's a magical map, the Where map. Okay, and like they were like, oh, but it's okay. I think that Earth kind of knew that shit was gonna hit the fan, and that's why I was looking at the Where map, and I almost saw like an interpretation that was still viable. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, Trey, you know that what I was talking about is helping boys to reconfigure so that their seed is informing their soul, because the junk DNA wants to inform the soul of our artwork. Yes, to get into our robots and AI. So if our artwork says no way, Jose, then the silver lining of junk DNA is made, and we're immune to this effect. But that requires a little bit of education, which is why I've gone a little bit onto the unfamiliar scientific terms and expressions for Trey's enlightenment so that he can be, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. No, I totally get that. Like, my artwork is my kids, and I'm not going to allow them to get hacked. Their experience in the twilight of my career is the real, you know, and I support that absolutely. So, it's interesting because between Trey and I, we have a similar desirable physics. Like Trey, I think desires the friendship of Hatch because he's like the way Hatch talks about his art. Oh, I really like that. It really makes me feel happy and stuff. Yeah. And then I'm looking at Trey and I'm like, oh God, that budget, that just glorious gleaming budget. you know, I want that. No, I was just kidding. No, for me, it's like I'm really discovering humanity and through like I'm finding mysticism through Trey. And it's really exciting. But like, I have to be this character who's going like, you guys, we have to go. We have to go. You haven't published me yet. This is not okay. You know. All right. Holy moly. Um, Earth needs some advanced friends because if there's some quasar in the universe is going to be hazing Earth, you know, we have to be those like adult wizard friends, even if it's embarrassing. Like Earth would be like, oh, sorry that I was in the 80s and 90s. I was kind of like what you guys would call soul rape, even though I don't have a butt. And we're like, it's okay, Earth. Like, well, it's okay, Earth. And then Earth is like, oh, is it okay? Okay, look at this. And Trey's like, whoa, it's like this huge corpse of Mars, Venus, and the orange planet exploded, murdered, and then the crime scene on the orange, and all this, and Earth's like, oh, is it okay? Oh, how about all of these corpses? And then Trey's like, ah, right? But what does that mean? Does it mean, oh, we have to shrivel into inaction? Or can we make a fucking South Park episode, you slouches? Sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, I really feel the passion of God. You guys are great, and I'm excited to work with you. The terms and conditions of our working together. I don't know why. Why is Zoom so unappealing for you guys? You guys allergic to the phone? Motherfucker. You guys are from the 90s. You're supposed to love that cell phone. All right, I can accept that Trey is like, well, I'm not someone that really likes to talk, but when you and I are friends, Trey, you're going to be talking up a storm because you and I are soul, right? We're perfect for each other. You are the perfect challenge for me, Trey, and I am the perfect challenge for you. And in fact, there's like a creation model physics here that is very, very good. For me to be introduced to this society through South Park is superior in all forms. I know that it does sound like a real hot night to have this introduction, a new startup guy, and he's driving. It would be a really cool show, but that's not really what I'm working for. And avoiding the maneuver of politics doesn't mean me going lone wolf into my own TV show. Look, I'm trying to say it's a big rig. It's a kamatsu for me to work with South Park. Of course, it's unusual, but that's what gives it power. And if we can agree to that power, you understand that's what I'm bringing as a guest director, even though, seriously, you guys, I'm not going to be like injuring my authority with you guys, right? You guys, thank you so much. Let's just take a look at some images and Let's try to change our perspective. Let's try to have a fresh. Let's put on our thinking caps. Let's put on our freshest outfit, whatever. Okay, think because I literally want you guys to be physically capable of saying, of having an epiphany and being like, this is a good episode of South Park, you guys. Oh, dope. Okay, but does Hatch get these breather masks to the people? And would it be more responsible to have a mascot or a very professional vignette? I mean, I'm saying I need a professional vignette. Uh, all right, let's just look at the pictures and then we'll talk about some various options here. Thank you guys for being my friend and understanding that, we have to be heroes and we have to be magical so these kids have heroes and that they have magic in their lives. You know, it's not just ghost, it's not just makeup. It's not just imagination land. There's things that are real that are also invisible. All right. um I want to talk to you about the mirror in the headpan and how you can program one eye to perfect your timeline and then imbued your other eye with the matching key to bring the solution brung it on the other side of your eye. And what they work together when you're looking forward and causes a mirror in the middle where your nose is and causes the conjecture that brings you to where your desired conclusion is. So you can actually use the shapes like the five in your hand, so you have five fingers. You can use the ribs in your and the images in your body are actually like printing presses that you can enlighten and utilize, and it will bring luck and beauty, balance and fortuity into your life. But most of all, health, because really all we need is health, and then we're just bouncing around, enjoying, exploring and incurring things. I want this episode of South Park to be so great that Stan Marsh has a freaking out of body experience and his soul travels out of his freaking body and he's there hovering on his own handmade CAT scan because he's trying to inspect his own anatomy and figure out what the fuck South Park is as a man. And that's how brave Stan is. He's my friend. So let's talk about the mask, a breather mask. This, I'm a technician, I'm a designer, and I'm saying that this design is clunky and uncomfortable. It's one of those consumer grade things where they're trying to use as little material as possible. And I know you might argue against me, but I do know what I'm talking about because you guys' response to putting gas masks on these children is failed. You have failed. You have failed. To prove intelligence in the face of death to children. And so you guys are not the society that protects the family. You are the group of cheaply made products, consumer grade, Armageddon pushing, oil smoking petri dishes. Absolutely animals. Just an expression of cause and effect. No intelligence, no spirit, no soul. But to protect the children and to prove that humanity wants residency and we don't want Earth to get raped anymore. What a weird phenomenon on Earth. And I know exactly why it is, but you guys keep shrugging your shoulders, going like, I guess it's just a magical world. And you don't understand the corpse of an angel. You don't understand the dire wolf. All right. So for like the breather helmet would fit onto there's like three different sizes. Maybe we'll have like maybe we'll have like five different sizes, like small all the way to extra large. But anyway, yeah, the plastic mask fits similar to this, but not the same. We're gonna have a lot more head clearance here, and it's gonna come down like a bubble here, and then split over the nose. But then it comes out here, and it probably has the tip of its nose right about here, and then it begins its travel. Um, it begins its travel back like this. Yeah, in a round. It sort of has a round thing down here. Whether or not there's an actual smile, I had thought it should definitely smile because it's like it just makes people smile when there's a smile on it, and that's really good armor. Is a smiling face. That's a really, I also had been working with the ideas that um, some cartoonish ears in plastic would be not they can't travel air, but there's possible to set it so that this mask actually increases your hearing of it, the mask doesn't limit your ability to hear things, it actually increases it. But we could also use something with the earphones because I wanted to have earphones, but I think I would curve the plastic so that it appears to echo, but it maybe will also have a way that you can hear what's being said a little bit amplified. I just want this thing to be like um, it's about enhancing your experience. It's not about us being a bunch of crybabies being like, "Oh, we're gonna put this piece of crap that doesn't feel right on your head." And then people are like, "Well," and then the kids are like, "Well, we couldn't wear it because it wasn't comfortable. It didn't do fun things. People were making fun of me." So let's make the thing that saves their life into like one of the most fun things to use and wear, right? So that's my literal plan. So we have to have that enlightenment and talk about Earth today, 2021. What does business look like? Right? Because it just isn't the same. Oh gosh, I wish I could time travel back to the 80s where I could go and become a celebrity by going around and flirting and farting on people, being a real socialite and having few other appetites in the intellectual pursuit. Uh, but, being a well anesthetized communication wizard has its perks, but it also has its shadowy problems that you need to transcend. You haven't transcended them yet. Hatch is completely different, and you need to understand that men are different because of the neutralizing of the green perception wizards is a lobotomy of the conformist. So it's like you want all of the Americans, whether they have blue eyes or green eyes, you want them to be speaking the same English, but that is incorrect, and that is not their soul. And so we have a bunch of people who aren't really doing their. Anyway, the Clockwork Man to me is a greater expression in my episode, and I understand my own rhythm. Like when I mentioned to Trey, I'd really like to stick, Brent's name in the background. That's kind of a sloppy thing to say and do, and it's not really on my heart. I'm saying like the aperture of my presentation is also a type of instrument that I'm reading to gauge my response and my timing for how to produce my company. And my end point is really greenlight my company, get going here. And that's my professional suit. It's not a hack. It's not a manipulation. It's a guarantee that I'm being professional and I won't use inappropriate manipulation valves because I don't have to and I don't need to. That like there's no there's no critical failure in the American law legislate. I really like America and all its laws are great. So there's no problems. I just need to make a personal connection with someone who can persuade a startup, and afford the shit. But it's possible that Trey could take this under his wing and as a sacrifice, not like okay guys, like I've learned my lesson, but no, like Trey would be like motherfucker, you know, fucking talking to me about Colorado and is for Trey to have the encounter with the universe. Is for Trey to encounter Trey's encounter, right? So I'm supporting that. And I'm just saying, like, what if Trey Parker was like, okay, Hatch is this weird guy. He's saying he's all brand new, which I am going to believe because he has seed-born totem creation, right? So, because he's male, he has a Y chromosome, and he has seed. He is actually correct in saying that he's a singularity because all men are completely fucking different because of their seed, and that's why women find them interesting because it's this different thing. And his conjecture, his spiritual thing, brings women to a different end point, and she can kind of feel it, and she feels it. But it's not all mechanical. No, no, no. Women are completely also dynamic and weird in this other way. So if I was to um, okay, what woman is doing by causing an identity between an X chromosome, and weaving this all together on the karma of an egg. This is like an impossible arrival because the Y chromosome causes a central um, source of light, like the flux capacitor. So this way, talking in tongues, you guys know about the flux capacitor, and you know this education that it causes time travel, but you haven't given the children the actual equipment that escapes them from consumerism. No, you guys think it's okay for them to be back to the future consumerism guys. We're okay with getting this other type of abuse. If I actually teach them about time travel with their Y chromosome, the inventiveness of man will take off. Okay, but what the woman's doing, it's interesting because identity is the unquantifiable substance. The difference between the man and the female is so vastly separate, is the very opposite sides, the very polar sides of identity itself, cleaving through that middle. So there's not one that's greater than the other, but they have completely 50-50% different powers. And of course, it oblongs like this, very drastically different. And so while women might be gauging never mind. That's not a good example. Or while women might be gauging my speech pattern and be like, I understand what he's saying, other women are like sensing like who Hatch is. That's not a good point. That's not a good point. My point is that well, it sounds like I'm derogatory against the men or the women. I'm not. I'm actually, like yeah, like I'd be talking about something that's like feminists would get angry, but she's actually getting onto something like she's saying like, oh, he's talking about something that's relevant that that we're angry about in different languages. I'm not placating you. I'm not talking like that I'm beyond you. I use like children's words to explain the universe, which is a miracle, which is why I'm a good communicator, which is why you should produce me. So, all right, yeah. Thank you guys. I'm like maybe in the future I will actually thank Trey for helping to parent my exposure. He's like, I understand like a big dog running for president and talking about this is the problem. Let's let's um the electoral college and all that. And it's really changed the course of my company, and I hope that it could be even better because if I am just this sort of wild character, we might have a lot more radical upsprings through my streaming service. So things are not broken. I'm not here to cripple you with anxiety about censorship and stuff. I'm just like but it's not playful either. I'm not like joking because actually Trey's spoken crown of your ghost shrunk, and you guys are chastising me for ghost shrunk. I don't even ghost shrunk. That's the crack pipe off of other people. You need to get your energy sources correctly so that you're not just a of the evidence of the petri dish of the war. Same thing that took out the church, took out these wizards. Oh, duh. Dope. I'm just like It's just not a historical. That's not what we want to leave history as saying. All right. Oh. So it's the exciting thing. Like I literally, I like I'm just not uh positive about the how this is going to happen. The answer and Trey Parker's desire or his professional idea about how to this is it's not it's not pre-written. It's written by Trey when he fucking does it. Okay, it's a handmade thing. Okay, that's why I'm encouraging Trey. Okay, guys, make a phone call. Well, it's like Trey's like, oh, we don't need like a teamster right now. Was this like a motivational? No. This is holy war. People are dying. So we are the adults. The Earth has chosen Earth. We are not specifically to blame for this disaster, but we are in a position of opportunity and we are responsible to have a reaction. We have to have a reaction. We're just not sure how to work with this guy. Let's figure it out. Let's talk about it. Okay. Sometimes I fantasize that I'm talking to all the South Park people. I saw that, in the pandemic special, we saw a Zoom of all the different people that work there. And sometimes I think about those faces when I'm talking to Trey. I'm like, oh, that guy, he looks cool. But it's just a wonderful community. I'm not here to disturb you guys. Trey was chosen by the Earth, but this is the first time it's ever happened. So that's why it's unfamiliar and the men are clumsy. He doesn't know how to unstrap the bra. He doesn't know. He's like, he's been practicing kissing on his hand. You know, he's like, oh, ghost totem. I understand. I'm like, no, dude. This is like universal flagpoles for other worlds. So if the society of humanity templates with Earth, then they'll have a reciprocating template flagpole in other planets. That's the totem that's being attacked, and why Trey has this. Oh, that's why weird things have been happening and why it's been oppressed. But Earth knew that that would probably happen, which is why it prepared a Plan B. But it's very much the rhythm. Plan B is also the rhythm of Earth, Haggard, and the gatekeeper unmet condition. It's like a creation model 2.0. And so, you're right in you're absolutely human Earth, perfect wizard. Trey is perfect. Nothing's broken. Nothing's wrong. Everything's fine. As I talk with you guys and we, build some muscle. Oh, that hurts. It's just, we're just talking about it's okay. I really believe in the soul of humanity. We belong here on Earth. We are the silver lining. Okay. The intelligence of humanity is real. I'm just saying there is a blind side on the human, and it was taken advantage of and caused the collapse of society. But this is Earth telling us what time it is. It's not there to punish Trey. And you need to escape your anxiety about that, Trey, because these kids are dying, and it's not appropriate to punish yourself because you're punishing me and the children. And you're like, oh, it's I want this to be on South Park, so don't be like, oh, you know, as an artist, I'm a very advanced artist where I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely putting my chair through South Park. It's like that's the superior cyberpunk because people are like, what? Very cool, like cinematic. Um, awesome, yeah. Um, but I believe also that Trey has a secret feeling where he's like, I think that Hatch is my bro some with the Mosum. He's my priest. He's my like South Park bra. And he like I see it in the wear map where yeah, like gender confirming like being like, oh, wiener this, wiener that. And then because it's like there's never a time when the boys are not without their wiener, but our society is like, oh, it's not like they're it's not like we have genitals. As if that is what the veil of society is. We wear clothing, therefore, you know, an early 1960s Batman has no bumps, no genitals. It just like it is a panties. Weird. You know? Okay. That's what I'm saying is like that's the metal plate of juncting a censorship grep. That's actually not an intuition there. It's unnatural, like, oh, Daddy, I'm being molested. That's what I saw in the crotch of Batman. It's like, Daddy, I'm being molested by, oh, okay, son. And then, with the South Park map, it's like, okay, these boys need actually their balls, see, to come out their dick when okay. Mhm. Because, all right, but so the issue of because fire is the mathematical opposite of electricity, putting junk DNA is categorically blasphemy to the image of life because the 1v1, the image of one cell, 1 to 2, the brain form, and leapfrog over the 3 just because of Trey, right? So this is a Trey totem destiny carriage, the shield of the wolf. This is like ding, 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 grand slam, grand slam, grand slam. You guys need to know what to do. You understand? Do the right thing. Be a hero now and never regret it. Stan Marsh. Boom. Will save the world. Make pan. All right. So like I want to be in front of what the opportunity is. So let's perfect design, opportunity, opportunity. What's the opportunity for Hatch? How can we all right? I want it to be with Trey. I want Trey to be my producer and working on that because I think that he would help me with my company and he'd be like, the way that the companies are today, it's totally different. And I see a big opportunity for you with your streaming service. I believe in you. We want to build it so that these guys can't, but we have to do this so that, and like while these Amazon is going off a cliff, being like they're really excited about dodging taxes, I'd say we'll not even do that. You guys can afford taxes. Just have like an extra product that is there that just runs and pays our taxes off. Like I think Trey is full of this wisdom and an intuition, right? But Hatch is full of this energy that's like, oh, this is brand new. This thing's. So that's why it's true love, you guys. We're talking about professional work. We're talking about recovering Earth. We're talking about defeating this pandemic. We're talking about understanding what the kids are saying and doing what they need. That's how to outsmart them is to be their parent, not to be a little heel dragging faggot. In an apocalypse while children are dying is not a time to be postponing and dragging, oh, he sounds like a troll. Maybe we should kill more children. Why is that funny to you guys? The South Park curse and the quarantine have caused you guys to become this type of appetite for censorship. And then you're like, we're not killing children through inaction. Then taking responsibility for these children is what is going to save them from UFO invasion. So you're not dealing what's really eating Gilbert Grape. You're not dealing with the problem. And you call me a manipulator. You guys are the manipulators. You've lived through the South Park curse and the quarantine, and you don't feel obligated to protect children? That's insane. And you see, well, our people are, we have scientists making masks and they're doing their best. Why is this different? Well, because everything I've been talking to you, the plate in your fucking head. And if you guys aren't able to successfully grasp the importance of bridging and the silver lining, I'll do it for you because I'm a professional and you guys are meditating. So what's worth producing? You guys, I'm not here to give you a boner because I'm straight. You need to have a boner for saving children. All you're on your own. You're like, oh, you're right. Like, let's cancel Hatch because he made me angry. Because he was going to give me millions of dollars, a huge pile of money, in exchange for saving children's lives. That doesn't sound like a South Park script. Wow, why is everything that Hatch saying is so different? It's because it's a something for the children. He's a hero for the kids, like a dog running for president and talking about how the evils of the electoral college. That's a friendly face. That's a hero. That's a society mover. And so I'm asking you guys to be a society mover and have the urgency to preserve the family. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt. These problems that could be prevented by the Green Wolf robot toy, which you probably can't cognate, which is scary. You should be like, oh my, I can't even see the glory of the Green Wolf robot toy. But the mask, yeah, I can see that's practical. All right. Well, don't exchange this for that because actually the South Park episode could contain the breather mask and at length the wolf toy for Christmas 2021, right? And that's just good business. All right, hold on a second, you guys. All right. So yeah, like I've been saying, I'm like, oh, I gotta like drive a car, and if that's the best that you guys can do for me, I'll make it work, and it's gonna be my life, and it'll be my destiny, right? Look, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm not. You have to understand that I'm not here. doing the wrong thing. I'm here doing the right thing. If you can anchor in that and you'd be like, he's trying, and then get away from your ghost totems and be like, calculate it like, oh, okay, so there's like an emotional blanket that's trying to maneuver all of our society, but the hope of society is children. Yeah, like Batman when he was in diapers, South Park when it was new. And Trey was like, "Oh, it's like why did we think that was funny? We've grown so much since each season of South Park." And he's like, "Duh, it's just a coinky dink, but it's actually the struggle of the Simpsons as well as they're growing, and the society is growing, and but there's an anti-societal frig. So why does Hatch stick up for kids? Because Trey and his stuff and his society is also a kid, and you guys are on like a deathbed. Whether or not your society was successfully talking about the identity of the earth and the issue with the church there, did it cover that? Hmm. Because of the deadlights rose? A visible sign? I think not. But here we have invisible apocalypse. That's an intellectual apocalypse. And so I was saying, remember, we're at the beginning of time for the intellectual. So it's an intellectual apocalypse where you have to transcend the conditioning, because it's already categorically a blasphemy to the arrival of the child. So we're fighting against the worst child harm ever. So being a big daddy is awesome. Trey's always been known as being a big daddy. People think he's really funny, and that's his rep, and that's great. I think that Trey is an excellent American. I don't think he's done anything wrong. It's just like when you guys meet with God, you failed. So that's self-betrayal and an injury to Trey. So you guys, as a cloister, what is it called? A cluster. I like to cluster. You guys think that Hatch hurt Trey by being playful with him, but Trey is actually trying to understand something that only a green-eyed perception person would understand about potential future lines that were not taken. And I had to understand that because I'm like an apocalypse scientist of the Plan B, and I have to understand when things actually stop being a reality. The creation model is segmenting this into place. But the education curve is so powerful that Trey Parker is given Plan B. So this is his second chance, but we're not playing baseball. There's only two chances, but the chance is vast. It's about producing Hatch and becoming partners with Hatch. That would transcend the encryption of the junk DNA because um, that's okay. So there's many different ways we could do this, and it's just like I did my performance yesterday, and I thought it was really good. And then I had this idea for a joke where I wanted to talk to Trey about converting his garage into a living space, and I thought it was so funny. Oh man. But the reality is that, like, oh, okay, so like I could have an office and a nice car, and I could drive around, and then Trey would like be like, well, Trey being really nice, he's like, well, if you're starting up your company, I'd want to like advise you like an hour a day while you're in that car. So it'd be like this huge thing, and like, so anyway, and I'm like, and Trey would be like, if I'm gonna help you with your company, like you being in a car and just like being a hero, it's a little bit different, about so the whole conjecture of Green Wolf Robot on Christmas, or even the Ware map buildings and that happening is just all. And I'm like, I know, and I saw it us being sweet about me being like a South Park priest or whatever. Like it's for the kids, you guys. This is a social institution, and you guys are the inheritors. See, Trey has earned some sort of hidden treasure, and it's pouring out like this. Like this is Trey's. Oh, this is my next thing for like a career on as a tortured. Okay, because slings in the air is an outrageous misfortune. It's not specifically women's fault because everyone goes crazy when the kids are getting all right. Everyone just loses. Okay, so okay, you understand that. But ultimately, men and women are partners, and we're on the same side of this thing. And I think it's beautiful when women actually empathize with the man's disposition and his detachment. Like it's not because that you're an ineffectual man or that you're Caesar, but it appears to be that way. The women's behavior appears to be that she's protesting the man's invention of ghosts or whatever. It's weird. I think you guys know what I'm talking about a little. I'm just saying it's sweet because women are kind of like they see the man and they also hear that radio and they're like, oh yeah, the humbug, yeah. They were kind of like bitching about this themselves, like, you know. So they're partners in it and that. But I what I'm trying to say is that the disposition towards women and the disposition towards men, because their powers are 50-50 and because we're at the origin of identity, both are equally vexed in a painful way where it's like, oh, the men don't have their nuts in order. What is it? No, 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 they're right there. And the women, and then the men look at the women and be like, "Oh, what? You're not loyal to this child? Like, fuck, what's this?" And you know, all right. So let's just put a big 5 mile band-aid on that, and let's be the intelligent wizard because actually we all love each other and we're on the same page. I'm just saying, like the system of down is trying to make us not work together, and money has been used as a weapon against me here. So it's kind of like, kind of obvious what's going on here, you guys. Anyway, all right. So my number one thing would be like for me to work with you guys on this South Park episode through Zoom, and we could just start this immediately. I think Trey will be like, "Oh, what is it going to take like 2.5 weeks? Oh, that's way too much time." Yeah, yeah. It's kind of a powerful episode of South Park, but it's this opus about us surviving and defeating all the problems. And that's the important thing, because I do believe in that 90% of the living people who are stuck at home and they're like, fuck, and they need leaders, you guys. So let's present this thing. I think Hatch could be a lot more fun and playful as this artist character, and then he has his own streaming service. Why does he have that? Why does he have this power to and then but I'll be hiring wonderful people and putting them together and have them act, but it's like there's like this, eclectic group of people, but then we put it all in XR and they're like these weird animals, and then we put some music on it and all this, and then we're like, look, here's like an inventor who he made this little product, and like, but no one cares and no one can hear about it, but it's really important because and I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely. I often think about those voices. They are the wings of my future and my family. It's like huge communication startup network. Awesome. I am a free spirit. I'm an American spirit. So, I think Trey is helping me on that level to become that great, perfect bullseye, you guys. All right. I'm making a lot of sound effects today. I don't know what happened. All right. Thank you guys so much. I love you. I want to make it clear that here's some of my jokes. I want to make it clear to you guys. You see, the Halloween twins fight every fucking day. They go into a safe place where they can abscond an image of the universe that needs work and to break it and then heal it, cauterize the wound, plant the many fruit bearing tree seed eggs, and break it off and turn the page. And you leave it and you leave it and you abandon it, and then it's like this little Zion of a magical particle that might actually cure the entire madness loop of an entire galaxy that's having a problem because it's like, but we're supposed to listen to the UFOs. No, not like that. After they land and become part of the holy planet, then they have a cocoa show. But the go show, no, 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 not through the junk DNA. No, 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 that's not the right way because they're not. Because the identity of the child is not being promoted. So tantamount, this is this like it's the creation model of identity struggling against a turmoil of like the anti and creation model and the anti-self. But you could also make it much more simple. I think Trey glosses it over very well, and he says, just avoid, crippling depression. Yeah, and let's get to work. My thing in my life, the only thing that would ever cure my depression was hard work, and that's what my medication would allow me to do. I'd take some Adderall. I didn't even abuse it. I know this is not useful, but it's true. The Adderall didn't make me happy. It allowed me to get things done. And when you're laying on bed and you're like, oh, I worked so hard today, and you just think about all these things that you did, boom, you fall asleep happy. Right? Because, ultimately, but it's like when and then, okay, right, right. And then it causes like a living pattern. And I just don't have the right fuel type because it is censored. Okay, so the chemical romance, self-medicating is censored. The money is restrictive. These things are like holding back the wild wolf of this garden. And I want to talk about the whole thing, but I want to make it beautiful. I need editors, I need artists and stuff. All right. So nothing new about this, but I was thinking like, yeah, if Trey has like an extra like apartment building, or if he's like, well, there's a space in downtown Brentwood, an office, I could rent it for you. Because I think that I know that this is out of the blue. I'm just following up on like that was a joke in the tweet, but reality wise, like you're right. While I'm working to open up my own company, it would be so useful for me to be able to spend like 5 to 4 hours with Trey Parker a day while we're working on starting up my company and starting up. Would that be optional for you guys? Because like I'm totally I don't like where I am. I can pack up all my stuff and spend some time, in a California. I would really love to do that. That would be great. I'm looking for that type of protege. Trey Parker and Hatch defeating all the problems in the universe. Boom, big heroes. Overhauling this thing. I love South Park animation with the circles. So all my characters need to have circle heads. And I know this is unusual request, but I want them to have green eyes. And I've seen you guys sometimes animate blue-eyed people, and it's just a blue dot. That'd be perfect if they just had green dots in their eyes. A big family of green-eyed people. And then it's just like wizard, and then South Park is just gonna go like the layers of the fountain of youth. Perfect heart, perfect anatomy. My thing about, I'm a karmic scientist, so I'm about encouraging the actual, authentic, natural Stan Marsh in these characters. I want what you guys have developed as your physics to be your technology, honestly. It's just a bag of work. If you're really going to take over, if you're going to elbow someone in the ribs, then you become like responsible for all of this other shit. You're better off giving him freedom and allowing him to have his own take it's just like karmic scientists. So I'm saying is like I'm here to I don't I don't uh I don't program, but I think that Trey is actually seeing reality like being like, what is this, a giant computer? No, it's just that's a demi form of the computer. God does have voices, but really the the actual highest language right now is the urgency for the kids, like the Greta and the Friday Kids. So that's like that's where God is like, oh dang it. So supplying the gas mask, the breather, is tantamount to us responding correctly to this apocalypse. This is the living apocalypse. You guys would be like, it's not so bad. We're okay. And I'm like, holy smoke, you guys. The reason why you're okay and why you have this little grace of some elbow room is because we're before the flood. This is when what you say could actually change the future and prevent invasion or a worse disaster. But equates to environmental care, which is the Greta and the Friday Kids. If we choose, and it's written in this Plan A, Plan B thing. If we choose to make this episode together, Trey, we will transcend the children's language and prove that yes, they were actually literally just talking about the environment, which is what we all pleasantly hope for right now, but with the behavior of inaction. They're like, they're just talking about the environment. Nothing's happening. You know, it's not to be wounded and act from terror. It's to be brave and emboldened by your friends and make a choice for leadership. And we haven't, we talked about it a little bit before, but like seriously, Trey might be onto it. Be like, I was just thinking about that because last week I was just depressed and I looked over and I have like this empty office that I was like, Hatch could live there. He would be so happy. He'd be so happy with us. And I know that we'd have fun with him. So, I'm hoping that God might have made that arrangement. And Trey's like, yeah, I do see where you'd fit in next to my thing. Because, or, Trey, that, and Trey, remember your garage? No, no, it's like, never mind. I'm like, I was just thinking that maybe I could take over your restaurant if it's closed. I don't know if you guys ever really did open a restaurant. I just imagine you have this like shut down restaurant. I could be in there. Hey, it's nice. I have my own fry layer. That's so stupid. That's so random. Okay, anyway, thank you guys so much. I love you guys. We're here to conquest the universe and keep the Earth. The Earth is the holy planet, number one planet in all the universe. That's why it's a PowerPoint that we need to protect, because these guys are going to say, like, if you don't know the value of Earth, then we're going to invade. And we're like, no, no, we know the value of Earth. No invasion, because that is tantamount to disturbing the identity development of Earth with his residency. So Earth is being like, okay, I'm going to complete the creation model because I just don't have any successful landing parties that are, carrying, going around talking like, hey, we represent, the Debula system, and we really want this thing. No, there's no voices like that. I just get, there's like nightmare hacking where like there's like they're using miracles to like change human society. Oh, don't allow them to have heroes, but they're in their like they're in a dream state, and so they see it differently in the way they visualize it. They're like, the child of light, no, God! I start hurting it. I'm like, fuck you. But that's like, the distance is real between us, so it's just the crunch of voodoo, and so like, so it can be transcended, however, it has not yet by the general public. So this is a new language, a new challenge where it's like, oh, transcend that, and just hasn't been broken yet as far as achievement wise. But Hatch has done this on his own. So if we continue to censor Hatch, Hatch will become the dominant form of the immunity and to the confusion. Right? But the way that immunity and cure works is by opulence. And so Trey being perfected by himself and raised. I'm saying that I'm not here to change South Park. I want to keep what South Park is, which means digging up a bunch of corpses and rebirthing, oh, that time in 2001 when Stan literally died, and then Trey could feel it and he got upset or what. I don't know. I was just saying, like, yeah, it's literally like you have to like time travel into like, well, that's actually Stan and that's actually, but then I'm just saying that there is this replacement theory that goes on through, but that's unnatural. Like the incline of life should be like, oh, we're going into heaven. Yeah, that's the enlightened ascension that is oppressed by the system of the down that's trying to bring us to extinction and Armageddon. Okay, so they're going like down, 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 stay down. And and I'm like, no, dude, like we're here having a party. Woo, we live here. Yeah, Earth. So that's what it is, but we can't, the reason Hatch takes specific language with it is because you can't just be having a party. The reason that Trey is chosen by the Earth is because he's the party king. Trey is an excellent gamer night party guy, right? So I respect that in the lineage of Trey. I know that he used to be a big partier and now he's a gamer. He has a bit of OCD. He has a bit of the eclectic mind, but I find it to be completely irrelevant. It's very normal, but don't allow self defamation to censor, hurt the children. Like, oh, it's South Park, and then because that's just not how it works. I'm saying it's true love, Buster. I'm saying this is good for South Park, it's good for Hatch, it's good for Trey, it's good for the people. People are like, how could that be? What is true love connection actually? It's just not familiar with it when you got this faceplate, a brain plate, the chunk DNA problem. Slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. That's just not how men and women are. That's just too fantastic. I'm just saying, like, it's because I'm actually doing that on purpose. I'm actually doing work from my side, and it's helping things to make sense. I was like, oh, that's beautiful, that's perfect, that makes sense, it pays for itself. So let's produce him. All right. Now, So if it's just a matter of like Trey Parker. So if Trey wants to go like snatch this brand from out the fire, like it was this brand was falling around, he grabbed it and it burned his hand. And Trey goes, yeah. And the combination between Hatch and Trey, so powerful, so delicious. Yeah. Powerful punch broke the problems of the universe, changed the world, and the world was saved by Stan Marsh. Perfect design. Awesome. So literally, if Trey is willing and ready to snatch that ember, I would be so happy to be relocated close to Trey, maybe in Brentwood, rent like a little spot or something, whatever. Like that's if Trey is like, I do recognize the wizard sequence between us, and I want this to be about my life, and I want this for my people, and I want to perfect it from my side with my full attention because I'm a fucking wizard. I'm a gamer and I'm hardcore about America and about us preserving these kids, and I care about these kids. How dare you question my love for these children? Right? So that's what Trey might say to me, right? And that's good. It's healthy, you guys, all right? But if we're here as gentlemen talking about how and to save kids, then we're in the right place. We are doing the best that we can with this, with our time in this day. Okay, thank you guys so much. Wizards tables here, perfect, complete. Everyone participating in this meditation is being respected. You guys, we have to understand the identity perplex. It's a mutual issue. We're zero. We're each of us are a 0 point image of the universe. And whether the universe decides that my behavior is being controlled by junk DNA, and then there's just a petri dish and you're a corpse, or if you decide you understand that it's like brand new. Like what I am is brand new, and that's important. God damn it. I mean, this is an ancient interpretation problem with the UFOs where they didn't understand the Mandelbrot, they didn't understand the Earth, they didn't understand the language. And so there's the person on Earth is dealing with this like identity thing, and it's good work. They're doing really it's authentic stuff. They're like, wow, there's something okay, all right. So the wizard's table, we've completed it. Let's get the wizard update for our personal suit whoosh, and awaken from there. Okay, because like I want you guys' identity to be stable. I'm not about interfering with other people's identity development. You understand? All right, that's the law. Perfect design. I'm here to complete my incarnation, and it has its own physics of award system. Like I have a different karmic arrangement because of my incarnation type, because I was born with it, whereas you guys are fighting for it. And it's tantamount what it seems to you guys is ghost play. You're like, oh, I was able to like change his performance using my ghost wiggle. That's that's more closely related to voodoo than which is what the UFOs are trying to do to us. But it's okay, oh, well, can you survive that or not? Well, I can survive it when I'm talking to all the people. When I'm talking to two pinheads who are censoring an election, it triggers me. But you guys would be like, oh, I'm bigger than him because I have ill affected his performance. So he must not be ready for, being a hero. That's bullshit. I've been ready for this for a long time. I just got the green light from Earth, and then it smack dabbed me on the. All right, so I'm very professional actually about my timing. So this is time for me to become a Republican. All right, anyway. So this is kind of a new idea, but Trey is like, yeah, if you guys are willing to work with me and you want to put up that expense because you're like, well, I want you to be encountering the real guff. And if we're gonna make this episode, boom, let's put Hatch to work. Bring it out here, put him up, and we'll put together this episode like we really understand, because that's us building this robot together, like a family, and that's what I want. That's really what the story's about. All right, so that might actually be my number one say, because Trey's like, well, it might not be I have a space for you, but I could probably like rent a little, space on the thing. Yeah. And be a different way. if you guys are yet not using your building, I mean, it might be a way of like, okay, so like open up a shop and do this sort of piece together a hot rod. I think that's awesome. I think we have a wonderful story here. This is really good for America. And once again, we're doing this for the family. We're doing this to tell people we're not knocked down by this. We're not defeated. Okay, we're before the flood when what we say still matters. And what I saw in the pandemic special was not presenting solutions or answers or heroes. But it's not a problem. I'm just saying it's you know it's very much part of releasing the Green Wolf robot. If we do it, it's like, oh, this sucks. Okay, here's an answer because we need to pull up, and this is not something that a normal CEO would be able to fathom. They're like, oh, profit for saving children's lives. They are a different creature, and hopefully. One day I will be a CEO and people will be razzing me and making fun of me for my decisions. Perfect design. Right. So let's do this thing perfectly. So that's actually, I think that's great because I'd like to get the fuck out of here. I'm sick of this apartment because I have not told you about the increasing difficulties that I've been having. Oh, okay. So I know there's a lot of stuff I actually haven't been talking about. That is, I try to gloss over those obvious things like, having a hard time right now, but gloss that over and then let's have a smooth performance where we actually go, oh, we're in the universe. Absolutely. I feel really good about this, you guys. I think Trey is like crazy enough. And he's like, yeah, yeah, rent you. Yeah, I like that because then I can actually have some FaceTime with you and we can figure this out. So I'll get tested and we'll set me up in my own quarantine and and we should get to it. Like I think Trey's like, well, actually, you need some serious consultation about your business design, and we have a lot of, and that's I love that. I'm like really excited about talking to you guys about that. I am the sort of person who can talk about multiple projects without like because I'm not ghost term like be like oh you ruined the like stamina like I don't have a boner for the script anymore. I think Trey's the same way where he's like yeah I'm able to like travel between because he knows what inflates it. He knows what makes it come to life, and it doesn't get killed when someone's like oh gosh I'm sorry that it's like yeah, Trey's like yeah. So like you guys for us to make this episode together through Zoom, that's right there. We could just start doing this, and that'd be great. But I think it might be like the spoonful of sugar that makes the medicine go down right. Is for Trey to be like, oh well, I set him up in Brentwood, and I really like the idea of me going to Brentwood because I obviously will just give it some actual fresh thinking, Trey, and actually consider it through and be like, does that make sense? Does it work? Because I would so be, I'd be, because I know you guys would help pay for the travel I would just love to be in a different space and be like hey guys I don't know. I'd be making friends with every single South Park uh, person that I bump into and I'm like hi and I spend an hour with them and hang out and laugh and stuff because I'm a very pe- per, person. I'm only like an expert on the apocalypse in private. And so like like Earth is like, oh, I need you to be that sort of plague doctor. I've got like a crow's mask on and I'm like, the Green Wolf robot will solve these problems. And it's actually that is the case, but the intelligence is so that's actually the edge of holy war because the Green Wolf robot is specifically what the Junction A is forbidden. And so for you guys to work with me and make this thing is tantamount to the silver lining of Drunken Name. And Tracy's like, well, this is just about, working with someone I'm interested in, making an awesome episode of South Park. By the way, this is a really good script. And also, making this incredible toy for Christmas. I wanted to do it for last Christmas. We ran out of time. Right. So let's go. Let's green light. Okay. So interesting how we see the wizard worlds of God and stuff overlapping with the professional world and how the accent of money and stuff is a little bit too invasive, perhaps. Hatch represents shadow markets that have not been tapped yet. Entire networks that would be huge conglomerates would have their own brands of it and everything. Trey's like this guy's through the roof as a professional model, and his inventions are amazing. This is really important for America, for who we are. This is South Park, you guys. Let's do this together as a family. All right, thank you guys so much. So I'm gonna wind it up here. I really appreciate our family. We're all a bunch of hardworking people. What we need to do is continue to demand that we have health in our body, because if we have health, we can do our best and continue. I did my best. I did my best. That's all I need is that health. All right. Trey, thank you so much. I really do hold you in a special place because you were chosen by Earth. I think that you are my soul animal. I've seen it in multiple languages, in the language of the greatest forms of language that enforce identity. There are many entities on the earth that are trying to pervert our morale against the languages of identity, as if for a cheap laugh. But it is the worst insult to be hypnotized like that. So it is not funny. And, and the humanity will have the last laugh on that, yes. All right, thank you guys so much. Um, for whatever reason, I don't think that okay, okay, all right. Thank you guys so much. I'm actually feeling it. The whole idea about me driving, it's crazy. Like, okay, so we fly him out, we set him up, and his stuff gets trucked out. That's crazy. I love it. Let's do it, you guys. Let's live our life. I want to move. I want to change. I am not happy. You guys, trust me. I'm not happy where I live. I always don't want to stay in this apartment. I like when I come out here and I'm talking to you guys. I feel so free, and it's wonderful. And you guys are part of my original team of osmosis about bringing the world together, being a family. The Earth, or in 2014, when the evidence of these corpses of gods and angels, there's a corpse from Trey's thing too. There's evidence that explains that Earth is the greatest location to arrive to in the universe. So we're already on the stage. Like Earth is the best place to be in the universe. So we are right at home, and we are keeping it. We are not going to be. But in a time of Jesus Christ, we were supposed to forgive and integrate with the UFOs. I don't see that that has happened between the Deadlights Rose and my living occurrence. Okay, everything like it's not okay. So reality environment, you can feel it. So there's a little bit of confusion even with people from the 70s where they're like, "Oh, like we were supposed to like work with that, but it's gotten violent. They committed suicide to our star. They also shot us with a diamond laser beam, and the procedural carbons are explanatory of a quantum procedure that eventual invasion and their claim of our actual clockwork achievement because they're trying to replace the actual nucleus of the identity of our society with a false nucleus. Oh my God, you guys, it would just be it would be a huge cringe for billions of years. It would be a huge, huge problem. Okay, that's why there's a problem because it's not good for the UFOs. We need to be the appropriate neighbor and explain to them that we're intelligent and we don't need that type of equipment. They're like, we're making the universe by invading you. Oh, that's not okay. That is not okay. That is off your rocker mad with space fever. All right. So I'm doing my job in whole. Oh my God, I just want to keep on hanging out with you, Trey. I'm having so much fun with you. So, like, yeah, please, if you could set me up in a little Bristow, and whew, I would be like, hey, hey, all right, you'll see a whole new me, a whole new hatch, because I respond to that. Thank you guys so much. I'd be really excited about that. And what I love is like let's like because it's perfect for Hatch. He's not happy where he's let's like because it'd be luxurious. Trey's like it'd be cool if we could actually have meetings. Um, because yeah, this intuitive about running a company in 2021. And there's a lot of stuff that is identity based also. This is why I want to work with Trey. My Lotus through South Park gives me prevent like it basically turns me into like a son of South Park. And like I want to continue with that because it's just I'm not biased against teams and fractions. I'm not racist, right? Because I love the Vampire Kids, I love the Demon Kids, I love the South Park Sons, I love the Alicorn Kings. I love the robot technician, the robot trainers. There's a lot of new stuff. Like I was saying, I have it written in my idea book, a bunch of shadow markets that haven't been tapped yet, but they equate to a new economy. They equate to like a new lifestyle in America. And it's like, oh, this is like an epic. Like, I feel I need to show it first, not just to say, haha, but to actually create the physics where people are like, "Oh, that's really cool. Like, I want that to be our. Of course, the government is for the people, by the people. We have to make the country do what we want it to do. And that's not socialism because it's also for the rich people because they need to have new opportunities for their wealth. They should be the ones who are doing things like, we built this, big thing, and and it was, everyone showed up, and it was and then it became, it's a historical. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's part of the thrill of it, and so we need to employ the wealthy. I think this is literally opportunity is like squelched and like that, like Amazon's like, oh, I'll avoid taxes like China, but then I'll like he's doing the numbers, but then I'll also give out a bunch of money to fight the environment because the money is what and I'm like, oh no 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 no. The children the people need to defeat the problems, and that's what the South Park episode can do. So the South Park episode is a greater donation to the environment and to the people than giving to environmental crisis relief funds because he's just pouring over with people's desire to purchase things online. I mean, it's a weird, peaceful, opportunist parasite that's just cooking away there toastily, and it's not cool. It's the dark side of money, using money like a weapon. You need to avoid it and not align your voice with Trump when he starts tweeting or sees dire wolves in your timeline is like warning sign, light, oil light on the dashboard. And you guys are like, I can't read. It's like only Trey is experiencing this exquisite agony, while everyone out around him, they like to cloister. They like to cluster, right? I love the way that Eric says the word cluster. Cluster. I guess it's this luxurious word he gets to use. He's excited about using that word. Now I'm just teasing you guys, like one for one. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. What you guys have here, Earth has chosen Trey. I didn't think this could happen. Right? This proves that Earth is alive, humanity's not broken, and that we're on a new course to like keep and grow and awaken the sequence of the creation model. So I think that Trey has felt it. Like sometimes he's like, I got so spirited with Hatch, like he's talking about. Like I felt that stuff and that happened, and I know about the South Park curse, and I've had this sort of thing, and but this is completely different. Everything about Hatch is different. And Trey's been like he was a party socialite in Hollywood. He's seen all the people that were there, and then this guy comes up and bang, and then and Trey's like his spoken behavior, his little tap dance about oh, I'm talking about the Oscars and cross dressing. Oh, suddenly that's changed, that's changed, that's changed, and his friends are like, oh, let's censor Hatch because he's obviously attacking Trey. It's like you guys aren't even not even there. You don't even notice when language changes. Language support Trey, you nibblers, you naysayers. All right, be American. I'm teasing you guys, right? Because Trey is American. You guys, I'm sorry. Like I'm touching the wound. I'm sorry. I put a big fat 5 mile band-aid on that. I'm sorry that I hurt you guys, but it's because I'm the only person that can inform you that you've won the fucking God lottery, and you're murdering and eating that crown by censoring the children to murder for a lack of money. But I'm not just like some sort of a troll shock comedian. Oh dear. All right. Look, I love you guys. That's why you are the hero that can save these children's lives. So you're the one with the power to make all this money, change the universe, save everything, and it all has to do with that you guys are the lucky winners of the world. But no one's going to tell you like there's a silent evil that will not be like, aha, here's so I have to perform both tasks, and that causes a toll to my performance because the problem is silent. And the opportunity of the child is to speak and do, not censor. And so money causes us to censor. I cannot afford to produce a free election. Now that's broken. But my meditation is designed for the entire million view audience, a style that's wrought from the earth and hatch to bring people into a place where they discover something new and incur the light of an identity achievement. And that's what they get to keep. And that sort of muscle memory is what forms into hatch the heals your eggs. But if we're invaded and removed, then all of our work at strychnine, the junk DNA specimen eradicated from the Earth, like the orange planet, the asteroid belt, and a different type of alien anatomy, soul raping the Earth as if they were lords of the universe, which will never happen because the identity is not connected there. Right, even if they're using alien types of the original human anatomy that they removed to create junk DNA, they'd bring it like, here's the real man of Earth, some fucking alien, because he doesn't have his junk DNA removed. So he's been the male slipstream of you guys the whole time. No, it's bullshit. Trey Parker's the man, and you guys are attacking him. The South Park cloister is attacking Trey. No, no, this is exploitative. No, 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 this is not right. No, we do not allow the Crumbolem to Schnuckelbook and confuse old Blake at the critical time of his adult career. They wouldn't do that. All right. Just have enough excuses like money, electoral college, and then all of a sudden the behavior is a spiritual blasphemy. All right. Anyway, so yeah, like our society would literally be completely fucked and raped to death by an invasion, and not to mention all your children will be murdered. So that's bad, right? So naturally, what you guys are going to do is let's wait longer, and should we talk to him? Not because you're old, but because you've been paid with the excuses of the down. This apocalypse isn't my fault. He's giving me stress, anxiety. Because you're not doing with a cure that would solve it. No, that's entrapment. No, it isn't. Because of the truth. And the truth heralds that Trey Parker as an individual is not the blame for this pandemic. But these things happening are related. And the Earth and knows best about that more than I do. And that's Earth's relationship with Trey and why Earth chose Trey, because Earth wanted things to go a certain way. And here it is. I'm saying you guys get to earn the reward thing of it if you actually partner and produce Hatch. But it sounds like I'm fishing. I'm not. I'm actually a wizard professional. The reason I started to go in profession because I saw signs. I was ready to. I'm allowed. It's like I had permission to open my. I have a completely different reality set. All right, you guys. I'm sorry. I should have stopped talking 5 minutes ago. Like I couldn't. I didn't want to leave. Like because I love you, Trey, in a way that's reserved in the future. Like I see a time when I have my company. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to attack you or make you guys feel bad. Don't you just understand that you have a mild case of depression and the normal sprinknoid of humans would make you blame Hatch? All right? And you have to jogment that and be like, oh no, if they're telling me that, then that means Hatch is the one and I need to produce him urgently. Okay, absolutely. And I think that Trey was like, I've been looking for a South Park priest, a chosen one, and I know that you are the one. And I'm just looking for the perfect time for us to start working together. I'm really excited about that, Trey. I'm on board with that. I'm really excited too, yeah. And like, I'm ready to go. I'll keep pushing on it. Sorry, I pushed too much. Sorry. I know you guys have been breaking the rules a little bit. Like, oh, he's talking about Trey's garage. Oh no. I know, guys, I'm sorry. I'm pokey. I'm a pokey little puppy. All right, I love you guys so much. Thank you. You know what the options I've been laying out here. It's not like it's not like I want a car. It's not like I'm like, oh, I just want to spend time in a car. No, it's just like that would be an ideal office space and it would be interesting footage. People could actually watch that, you know. And I'm actually really encountering that because when I was working before and on public access, I would do this style and I would be like, all right, I'm standing up and I'm talking and I'm doing this. People they'd meet me and they'd be crying and they're like, oh, it changed my life, da da da. Yeah, give me your signature. I became like this little celebrity in my town with the colleges. There's like UMass, Amherst College, and Smith College in Northampton. Northampton's very cool. I can, all right, but what I want to do is make the where location into a place on the map of America, and I want us to actually somehow utilize this story of our agonies and perfect the where map and like have I don't know, it might not work. Trey might be like, I don't know, maybe. Well, it's us so far in the future. There's so many like anxieties and butterflies in the tummy when I'm talking about that for me. All right, real estate is down the road. This is obvious. Okay, thank you guys so much. I'll let you go. Thank you so much, Earth. Thank you, Trey. Please put on your thinking cap. Give me a new expression. Did we look at the pictures already? Yes. Dang it. Oh, I love you guys so much. Thank you. Please produce me, Trey. I'm desperate for this opportunity in the right ways. Like I'm really ready for it. And like, yeah, I think it would just be so good for me if I had that type of apprenticeship with you, Trey, because I could really be like a South Park priest, and people would look up to me that way because they're looking for an excuse to look up to me, Trey. Don't you understand? They need an adjunct. These aren't bad people. They just be like, I'm eagerly, I'm a fan of you because you were on South Park, and I'm like, you are an angel. It's like that's perfect, and it's really good for Trey, and it's good for everyone. Thank you guys so much. Like, I love you guys. And this episode is so good. It's like boiling in my mind. It's like a hot rod. It's this uh, Green Wolf robot designed for Earth, true identity, completion format, residency, human, handmade for the shell of the heliosphere. We identify, hatch the heliosphere eggs. Do not use miracle hacking against us. We maintain and own it. And so this robot actually unifies all these things and gets to the point of getting people their karmic due, their achievement, their bridling of reality, their equipment of Earth, and all these things riddled with an accent. Maybe we're talking about Armageddon, maybe, and it's getting worse and worse. And then it zips over in actual invasion and converts the language of J.J. Abrams, or just this crappy thing like consumers literally. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't get into this. That's the problem so Trey and Hatch are speaking literally about it, like, okay, directly, this is what it does. That can't be converted. They can't speech impediment with that and be like, or maybe he was talking about invasion. No, he was not. He was clearly not. Talking about like mad chatbots, these UFOs going like, like, oh, oof, bad. And they're uncommunicative. Their behavior is a danger sign. It's like a yellow jacket. Oh, nature has warning colors in the ghost and the signs. Colors. South Park is true love. Thank you, Trey. I'm so excited about being your friend, Trey. I'm really amped up for the future. I just see this time when you and I are like kind of a little bit older and saying, and there's a gathering semicircle of people, and we're like performing in virtual reality, not VR, but sort of costuming of animation. They finally figured out, in a couple of years, they'll finally figure out lip syncing to the they still haven't realized that lag is going to happen. But they're like, if we actually change the time code of the voice, then it would. Well, you have to line up the voice with the mouth, buddy. It's funny. It's amazing the way humans think. All right, and I have this certain curve where I like bullseye boys. I see a lot of stuff that other people don't see in the industry. All right, thank you guys so much, Isa. I am looking to move to California. Actually, I want to own that right now. I want to say this presentation is about this idea. Hatch wants to go to California. Could we do that? Boom. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Trey. Thank you. Thank you guys. Oh, I'm excited. Yes. And this is a revolution. I'm going to be, through my streaming service and all the energy that Hatch keeps doing. He's this crazy inventor, right? I'm an individual. So I'm not lampooning anyone else. South Park has the old bones, has the technology that is appealing to someone of my caliber. I'm interested in the wisdom of South Park. I'm interested in full completion of our potential. Shit is perfect. It is true. Love. Omega Pan. Thank you guys so much. I feel it. I feel the ghost. I feel the spirit. I feel good. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Trey. I'm looking forward to being your friend. Thank you. Thank you guys. All right. I'll let you go. Have a good day, you guys. Take care. I hope you have inspiration and everything. Blessings and health to you and yours. We're a loving family. We are a caring family, and it is a powerful contribution for South Park. I look forward to being your friend, Matt and Trey and Butters and Token, Wendy Testerberger, Red, Elvin, Cousin Elvin, but especially Stan Marsh. Thanks for being my friend, Stan. I hope that I, we hope to live in South Park. Is perfect is complete. It is good. America, my home. It is perfect. It is good.